Welcome to the Short-Term Rental Playmaker Podcast, where we break down what it really takes to win in short-term rentals in today's market. From insider tips and emerging trends to real conversations with top playmakers in the space, this show gives you the tools, strategies, and mindset to build and scale a successful short-term rental business. Now, here's your host, Joe Roney.
Today's episode is brought to you by Savvy STR Agents, the short-term rental real estate experts helping investors find profitable vacation rental properties nationwide. If you're serious about scaling your STR portfolio, Savvy STR Agents should be your first call.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Short-Term Rental Playmaker Podcast. I have another awesome Hospitable Hosts co-author on the show today, Steve Resnick. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so super excited about having you on the show. Obviously, we have a huge book coming out, launch coming out this Saturday on Valentine's Day. So, look, kind of excited to hear a little bit about your story. We don't want to give all the details of the book, but kind of some high level stuff. But we'll start with how the book writing went and how that was for you.
Yeah, we're super excited to be in this book. It's really, the title that we named our chapter, my wife Kim and I, is called Never Let a Good Crisis Go to Waste. And it's really a story of a couple huge crisis events that we had in our life. And it's really, it's interesting because it puts like the human side along with working with your spouse and some of the tragedies that we all face in life and how inspirational those things can be. So, when, I can tell you the story about it, but, you know, I don't want to give too much away in the book, but, inspirationally, I think it's like you look at some of the things that we all face as human beings and you have two choices, right? You can kind of just like crawl up in a ball and give up, or you can use that as energy to propel you to the next level. And in both of these instances, my wife and I both used those crisis events to really better our lives and to impact not just ourselves, but also many others in our community, people that work for us, people that we work for, et cetera, et cetera. So that's really the story, and we're really excited to release this. When Kim and I read through it, we were working on putting it together. It was like back and forth, but the end product, we both read it. Like the last time we read it, we were like, I literally had a tear in my eye. She was emotional as well because it was a very emotional story.
No, that's awesome. It's interesting. Mine's gonna have a little bit of that in ours because we had one major crisis that led me to leave my corporate retail job, but it was before I actually jumped into short-term rental. So, jumping into the short-term rental, when did you guys make your leap to get into the short-term rental industry, and how did that start?
Yeah, we started in 2015 when we bought our own property in Ocean City, New Jersey, which is the market that we're in. And we really had no idea what we were getting into. We purchased the property and we started like most other people that buy properties in that area. We just used one of the local real estate agencies to rent our property. And we actually used a couple of them, and it really wasn't the experience that we were expecting. It was very transactional. They didn't really know our property. They didn't really do a whole lot other than get our property booked, during the peak season, which is nice. And it did great. Don't get me wrong. But I knew there was a better way, and I knew there was the ability to make it a better experience for guests that stay at our property, but also, for us to make more money as well. So what we did is we bought that one house, we rented it, we ended up renting it ourselves, and then we made a tremendous amount of money doing that. And then it was like, oh, this is the market was great back then. You couldn't really do wrong.
Yeah.
We said, like, how do we double down? So I just put filters out there to look for like the exact same configuration of our property. And, I found something. It was identical pretty much, same bedroom, bathroom count, same like general location to the boardwalk and the beach. So we bought it, and what do you know? It did the same exact thing. It was cash flowing very nicely. So we're like, oh, great, let's do it again. And so we bought a third property, and then that started to do really well too. But then COVID hit. We panicked a little bit. I was working for a financial institution that relocated me at that time. So we're like, why don't we just sell this property? We have all of our eggs kind of in one basket with these three properties in one market. Why don't we sell it? And then we sold it to a gentleman that really could not believe the rental income because we were making so much more than the market doing it ourselves, because I was very invested in learning and passionate about, like, how do I do this better and better? So he couldn't believe the rental income, and he was like, I'll buy this property, but I would love for you and Kim to manage it for me. Would you be willing to do that? And we were like, sure, because we were doing it already anyway. And we still had other two properties. So we did that, and we actually exceeded what we even said we did. Like, we made more money for him the next year. So he was like, you know what? I have a beachfront property. You want to manage that for me as well? And we're like, sure, why not? And then we did that, same results. And then he came back to us and he said, you know what? I want to buy another property in this market, but I'm only going to do it if you and Kim commit that you're going to manage it for me. And I'm like, I looked at Kim, I'm like, I think we have a business here. So that's how it really got started. And, we organically grew from there. We didn't, I was still doing it as a side hustle, really, still working a full time job in technology program management. And then we had a crisis, and that crisis really was, at the end of the day, I had to make a long story short, I had a neck surgery. I woke up one morning and, like, extreme pain in my right arm. I didn't know what was going on. Ended up, I needed to have surgery. They went in through the front of my neck to get to the back of my neck. It was supposed to be like a 1 day in and out, but I ended up being there for over a week. I lost my voice because they kind of damaged my vocal cords as they were doing the surgery, so I couldn't talk for months. I was
Oh, wow.
bedridden, recovering from all of that, and I was like, "You know what? I'm not gonna just sit here and watch TV. I'm gonna get my real estate license to legitimize my rental business. I'm going to develop a vision and a plan for how I build this business, and I'm not going to go back to my corporate job. I'm just going to use this as my exit for financial freedom and to do what I really love to do." So
That's
that's
awesome.
one of the tragedies that we faced. The other was really back 22 years ago, we lost our daughter Ashley. And that was, we went to that market. We went to Ocean City every year, kind of experiencing that, creating memorable moments with my daughter. And when she passed away, we kind of we lost the capability to build new memories, but we had all those memories of the past. And then it was always in the back of our mind. And we then, when we bought this new property, we were able to create new memories with my other daughter. And we're like, we really, there's value behind that. We want to impact people. We want to impact, not only guests that come there with their families to have a great time, but build those lifelong memories that you can always look back on. And you want to have a good experience. You don't want to come into a property and then have to, like, make beds and figure out bed sizes and bring your own linens and, like, all these antiquated processes of the past. It just wasn't conducive to, like, a great experience for a guest. So we're like, how can we make that better? Like, so I was essentially leveraging all my past experience in the corporate world. I have a marketing background, a process background, and a technology background, which really fit in very well. And my wife, Kim, has complementary skills where she's an interior designer. So it's just like all the pieces were in place to really build this business and be very successful in terms of the ideas that we had to create this more human experience, and not transactional, but more focused on hospitality. And that's what we strive to do and continue to improve on it every single year.
Wow. Yeah, that's definitely quite the path and quite the journey to get to where you are. I mean, that a lot to overcome. I did, one of the things I heard you say about the linens and bring your own. I've heard this is a thing in the Northeast where there's a lot of places that require you to bring your own linens. Is that an actual thing up there?
Believe it or not, it is. It's amazing because, I'm part of several different, mastermind groups and things like that, and when I talk to other operators around the world, you're like, "What? You have to bring your own linens?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's the standard." It's like these antiquated processes that were these companies, these real estate companies were very transactional, and they basically dealt with mostly sales of real estate. And oh, by the way, there was a market to rent properties. So they just got into that and they just really got bookings for people during the peak weeks. But that's not like, to me, that's not hospitality. That's transactional real estate. So we wanted, like, there was nobody in the market doing what we're doing. So we're like, all right, we're going to provide full linen service, hotel style. You get there, all of your beds are made, the bathrooms, you get beach towels, you get everything, right? You get amenities. Like we just bought a hospitality hub as well, right in Summers Point, local to our market. So we're even taking that to the next level where we have all of our linens being managed, all of our consumables. So we're now upping the game, even with like shampoo, conditioner, body wash, lotion, these nice kits that are branded, makeup removers, soaps, and all of that stuff, and just coffee. Like, you don't get that anywhere in our market right now. You don't get
Yeah.
24 by 7, 24/7 support. You get like 7-minute or less response times, somebody to talk to if there's issues, all the communication that we put in place. There's just so many missing pieces in my market. So that's what we're there to like disrupt it and make it better for not only for the guests, but for the owners too, right? To get them
Yeah.
more exposure to their properties through marketing and technology using, dynamic pricing and things of that nature.
No, that's awesome. That's huge. I mean, obviously, that's the name of the game in today's short-term rental market is how do you set yourself from the competition? Your competition is just very different than other areas, on what you have to do. So, but it's interesting because like I said, I've heard that stuff before, and it was like, man, I'm in the beach market. My area is Panama City Beach, and it's pretty standard. All your linens, everything's included, all your soaps and shampoos, and even pool towels. We don't supply beach towels, but so yeah, that was kind of interesting. So you're obviously, once you started managing for this gentleman, you decided to keep growing. So what does your portfolio look like today?
So we have 85 properties that we manage today, and growing. Our goal is to get to 120 by the end of the year, 2026. So we're aggressively growing, and probably about one new property per week we're adding to our portfolio right now. So it's really really good. We're super excited about helping more and more owners. We basically do three things for them. We make them more money than they've ever made before, and we have a proven track record of doing that. And then secondly, we make it truly stress free for them, right? Because we do it all. Like, there's nothing that we don't do. Not only do we have trained housekeepers, we have maintenance, repair, reactive, proactive maintenance, anything from snow shoveling to plumbing, painting, whatever it is, we do it. So they can just sit back and relax. And then we take care of their property better than anyone else because we just have a local team there. They're very committed. We have an operations manager for property care. We have a housekeeping manager or hospitality manager. So we have all of these pieces in place to be able to really make it easy for owners, and they can just kind of sit back, relax, know that their property is in good hands. And then from a guest perspective, like I said, we do all those things that aren't offered in our market. And you know what? The pricing of vacation in our market has gone up significantly every single year. And I think guests are really tired of not getting a consistent standard experience with, best of class amenities, and a hospitality focus. And we're there to basically give them that.
Yeah, I think that you hit it right on the head. Everywhere you go, the prices of vacations are increasing. So if you're not providing that full experience, they're going to go somewhere else. And
Right.
I've seen that all over our market as well. One of the things that I love that you've done, and it's similar to what I've done, and actually, the majority of people that I talk to that are in the property management or co-host business, the ones that have been the most successful, have decided this is my market, and I'm going to become the person in this market. and you've created that in your space. You're not in 9 different markets all over the country. You have a team, you have one place, and you built a property management company with, 80 plus, soon to be 100 plus properties. So I think that's impressive. And I think it's, a testament of kind of what you guys have done. What does your personal portfolio look like? Have you continued to expand that as you've been managing, or are you
Yeah,
still just,
and that's such. We're actually just that we had 3 properties, we sold the one, and fortunately, the one that we sold, the new owner is allowing us to manage it for them as well, so we're excited about that. We get to keep because we did really put a lot. Kim, as an interior designer, she basically gutted that entire property and rebuilt it, modernized it, and made it a beautiful property. So we're so happy that the new owners have chosen to stay with Heavenly Res and we're managing it, and they're going to make a great cash flow from that particular property. But no, we had the 3, we sold one. The reason why we sold the one was only because we wanted to kind of leverage that money to buy our what we call our Heavenly Res hospitality hub. So we bought a commercial building in Summers Point, which is right over the bridge. It's a 5,800 square foot building. We're super excited about it. It's going to be like our service center. All of our cleaners are going to come there in the morning. They're going to have everything ready for them. Our staff internally is going to prepare bags of all of the linens. We've standardized on our linen product, so higher thread counts, color coded inseams, so there's never like a mistake of king beds are one color, queen beds are another, et cetera, so that the cleaners' lives are easier and that there's not like mistakes made from like the wrong sizes on the wrong beds and things like that. We've seen it all. And also we have control over the linen so we can see if there's stains that are detected from the press or whatnot. And then we can take it out of our rotation. And if we can't get the stains out, we're going to donate it to a local charity. So help our community out with doing that. And then all of our consumables, we're buying them in bulk and we're having everything ready. So the cleaner just comes by, they give us the property. We know what properties they're going to be cleaning them that day, and they pick it up, bring it back, and then they drop off the soiled laundry at the end of the day, and we have all that professionally laundered. The sheets are like go through a $350,000 machine that presses it really nice, so it looks really clean on the bed. So it's all about like the presentation and being able to have these luxury amenity kits in the bathrooms and for the kitchen, a welcome book and bundle and all that stuff to really elevate the experience. So
that's awesome. So what is your, I guess, big question. A lot of people are going to ask this is, with having 80 plus properties and having this, I'm assuming, are these cleaners W-2 employees? Are they 1099 contractors that you're working with? And then what does your total team look like? Operations manager, guest communication, that kind of stuff. What does a high level look like on that?
yeah, so we have the cleaning crews are mostly contractors. We are building our own internal team this year, though. We do have a cleaning team manager that we hired that is setting all of the direction, best practices, standards. So we've upgraded our software, we've upgraded our people, our processes. So our software, we're now using Breezeway. So we're using that to really increase the ability for us to be able to communicate. And some of our cleaners don't speak English as their first language, so it translates it for them. They have their checklist. They have to take photos. It gets compared to a reference photo. So, everything, all the photos are time stamped, and then they can create work orders or identify issues right in the software that comes back to our local property care operations manager. So our team looks like, myself as the CEO. Kim is in charge of interior design and owner success. We have an executive support resource. We have a director of operations. We have a local property care operations manager, a cleaning team manager, a full-time marketing manager. We have 4 guest support resources and others as well that are part of the team that are like working in some capacity, either 1099 or otherwise. But that's really the core team right there.
Wow. Wow. I mean, that's a huge operation, right? I mean, there's people listen to this. There's people like me. Like I have 14 properties, and I'm a team of my wife and I, and a executive assistant, and then obviously we have our great cleaners and handymen. But and then there's people that are somewhere in the middle, but 80 plus properties. So your goal this year is to get to 100 plus. What's the long term goal? Just continued growth? Or are you going to get back to investing in your own properties? What does the long term goals look like for your company?
The next goal is going to be 300 properties, but I want to be very careful because we're very strategic in how we do this, right? The minute that we're not able to deliver a hospitable experience, then that's the minute I'm going to back off on the scaling, right? So far, we lead the market in terms of five-star reviews. We have over 1,500 five-star reviews. So we're able to get to this level and still maintain that level of quality. And because we purchased this hospitality hub and we're investing in certain improvement opportunities, we're now able to scale even more and be able to deliver that consistent standard experience. So I'm going to continue to grow this company because I want to impact more and more guests as well as help owners. But the minute we get to a scale, and typically what happens with these large operations, especially when they're scattered all over the place, that's why we're focusing only on Ocean City and we're not going to move our vacation rental management business anytime soon
Yeah.
outside of that market, right? But the minute like we're going to continue to keep a pulse on it, and if we get to a level where hey things are starting to slip and there's like we don't have the process in place to be able to help that, that's the minute that we're going to stop, right? So we want to just continue to grow and help other people, but we don't want to compromise our ability to deliver the best of class results for in terms of hospitality to our guests and owners.
No, that's awesome. So, want to kind of talk about Kim and what she does in her design space. So, my wife does design every property we take on co-hosting. Like we only do, our model is we only want really high performing properties. So we require the owners to let us go in and do 50 to 100K remodels, new design, new furniture, wallpaper murals, the whole works.
Yeah.
That's just our strategy is. But I'm sure, with bringing on this many properties, you're not doing that level of design. But what is Kim doing with the design to help these properties stand out and make them perform?
Yeah, it's really similar. I mean, we do anything from Kim will look at the property and she'll say, "Okay, here's some like simple decor things that you can change that are going to help with the photos because the photos are going to be what sells the property." But anywhere from like a total renovation to like gutting the property and rebuilding things all the way up to just some minor tweaks that we help our owners all throughout the process, right? From even before they purchase a property. So we'll get involved and say, hey, if you buy this property, here are some things that you can do in terms of like amenities or configure bed configuration to optimize the sleeping arrangements or simple accent walls or decor. Kim handles all that. She works directly with all the owners. She has relationships. We have relationships as a business with many local like businesses that do the trades, but also like furniture stores and things like that. She has trade discounts that she passes on to the owners as well. And then, from there, it's like most people don't believe this, but she offers her services free of charge. And people are like, well, why do there's a lot of money to be made in interior design. But our concept is we want to help more people. We want to help guests have better experiences, have better looking properties and better performing properties. We want to help owners. And our benefit is like when the owners are making more money, the guests are having a better experience. We're benefiting from it as well. So we offer her services free of charge. And owners love that. They're like, wow, that's great. It's great. And they get wholesale prices on some things too. So it's like, can't beat that.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I think there are some designers out there that charge a huge amount for designs, and it depends on the level of design. And there's things that we've done for free. When we first started, we did a lot of our stuff for free. We do have a charge now, but we're going in and working 12-hour days for 6 days to set up a house. So we do charge when we're actually going on site and doing the work ourselves. Obviously, we're hiring contractors to take care of some things like painting and flooring and built-in bunks. But we actually are doing it for our owners instead of having a crew that does it. But that is next goals is, where we can just do the design and let somebody else go in and do the work. most of our owners are 100% hands off. So we're, obviously going in and taking care of everything for them right now. But I love
Yeah.
that service that you offer, because you're right. You create a design for your client, and it's going to perform well, and they're going to keep you for years to come. And I'm sure your turnover is, as far as clients, is pretty darn low.
Yeah, we're doing really well. Our owners have been super happy with all the work that we do for them, all the services that we offer, and the innovation, right, and really the focus on continually getting better at everything that we do. It's we're not perfect, but we make improvements every time to create better experiences for our guests, and also to make owners more money as well. So we want
Yeah.
to continually get better and better and better. The minute we stand still is the minute we're not growing. So we have that mentality.
Yeah, no, I think that's awesome. I mean, excited to read about this in the book and learn, kind of how you built this business, because I mean, it's inspiring. I mean, you're talking, when you first started co-hosting, which I'm assuming you started co-hosting sometime around COVID, or was it pre-COVID that you started managing?
Well, we were managing our own properties in 2015. When COVID hit is kind of when we were starting to like organically get a little bit of growth there through, the property that we sold. And then from there, like things took off. And then now the market's kind of like stabilizing, and, people want to get value for the money that they're spending, right? Um, it's the market's getting tighter. It's not, there's more and more people that got into the Airbnb and short-term rental business after COVID because of COVID. And the ones that I think are going to be successful are the ones that are really hospitality focused, the ones that really deliver what guests and owners want. And a lot of them just don't have the experience or have the time. They do it as a side hustle, and they just don't like take the time to grow and be passionate about it and read. That's all we do is like live, sleep, breathe, learn, about short-term rentals every day, every single hour of every day. It feels like we don't we don't give up, because there's so much to learn out there, right? It seems like
Yes.
easy, and a lot of it is common sense, but there's a lot to it in terms of running a business, especially at the scale that we're at.
My last question for you is revenue management. Do you have someone handling your revenue management on staff, or have you hired that out? Because I recently hired, a revenue manager to take care of all mine, because that's, to me, felt like one of the biggest time consuming things that was taking a lot of my time, and I needed to free up some of that time. But how do you guys handle the revenue management piece?
Yeah, I mean, the revenue management piece is a little easier for us than it is for most, because we're in one market. And like I have become an expert in that market, because it's all I do is like rental projections every day. I'm doing rental projections, and I see all the historical data. So our approach, really, we have it all in house. And basically it was really working directly with an account executive over at Price Labs and tailoring the rules and everything in the tool to our market. So it's very sophisticated in terms of, it took me 8 months to actually build this model that I have, but it's proven to work very well in terms of all the specific rules of the night, how many minimum nights, what the peak rate is. We lock in certain prices that we don't want the software to mess with, and then we allow it to have more flexibility when it gets to supply and demand around the shoulder season and the off season. And we change all of our rules depending on so many different factors. And we have intelligence built into our communication strategy as well, and our marketing, so that once we detect there's things like we have some orphan nights or things like that, we reach out to guests on both sides and say, "Hey, we have we have a few nights before your stay and a few nights after your stay still available. Are you interested in extending your stay?" And those kinds of things. So we're using some creative marketing strategies, as well as last minute discounts and other like pricing strategies to really optimize the income of the owners when it comes to that.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's similar to what I was doing for the longest time. And if I was just doing property management, I probably would have kept just doing all the revenue management myself. When, I joined Savvy a year and a half ago, and the real estate side just completely skyrocketed with, interest rates and everything else coming down, that I had to budge something. But I agree. If you're in your market and this is your main business that you're doing, it's not hard to do the revenue management because you know the ins and outs. So
Yeah, it definitely gets a lot more complicated when you're dealing with multiple markets because they're all different in their own way,
yeah,
right? But we see there's so many similar configurations of properties. It's really, the rentals are driven by certain factors of basically differentiating factors. The key one is the proximity to the beach, right? That's always going to
yeah,
drive what your rates are, bedroom counts, occupancy, um, unique things like a pool or which are really rare. Unfortunately, in Ocean City, there's not a lot of properties with pools, so they can
yeah.
definitely command higher rentals. Things like that, elevators and things that people want. We're seeing a lot of demand for pet-friendly properties now. People are really looking to bring their dogs on vacation, so we're seeing a lot of more occupancy with those kinds of units.
Yep. I'll say that I'm pet friendly in every unit that I manage now in at Panama City Beach. And it's not the $200 pet fee that I'm making a bunch of money on, but it's the extra 10 to 15K in rents that I wouldn't have gotten if I
Right.
weren't pet friendly. So I definitely, and my pet guests, I will argue, is just as good, if not better, than most guests, because people that travel with their pets are usually respectful pet owners. The people that are bad pet owners are usually not taking their dogs with them on vacation. They're putting them in a kennel or leaving a home or whatever it may be. So
Yeah.
I've had very good luck with that. So man, that world of knowledge. Love kind of hearing your story and how you guys jumped into this. Definitely looking forward to reading this chapter, and hopefully get a chance to meet you in person at the meetup whenever they get it planned. And
Absolutely.
hopefully that'll all work out. So any parting words on the book and on the release coming up?
No, I just all I'll say is that this is an incredible book. I mean, when you look at all of the different human aspects of building short-term rental businesses, and it's not just about that, it's about just like living life. And there's a lot of in these stories, there's a lot of good nuggets to learn and motivate and inspire yourself because a lot of business growth, most of it is really about mindset and having that mindset and not giving up. And I think that's what a lot of these stories are about. It's like building a better life with you and, you and your loved one, going on vacations, supporting people going on vacations. People generally all have a lot in common, right? Everyone wants to be happy. Everyone wants to spend time with their family and friends. And, we have a lot more in common, I think, than we all realize. And reading a book like Hospitable Hosts Couples Edition brings like all of that back, through the stories of hosts themselves, but also the stories of, other guests that are staying at these properties and the things that they can benefit just from the knowledge and the experiences that we all have had.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I'm super excited. I've had five of our co-authors on the podcast this week. All of these are going to be coming out leading up to our book launch on February 14th. So I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story with us today. And man, can't wait to read about it in the book. And for everyone out there, thank you guys for joining me for another podcast on the Short-Term Rental Playmaker. And make sure on Saturday you're ready to hop on Amazon and order your copy of Hospitable Host Couples Edition. The link will be in the bio on that day, and it will be on my Facebook page. Have a good one.
Welcome to the Short-Term Rental Playmaker Podcast, where we break down what it really takes to win in short-term rentals in today's market. From insider tips and emerging trends to real conversations with top playmakers in the space, this show gives you the tools, strategies, and mindset to build and scale a successful short-term rental business. Now, here's your host, Joe Roney.
Today's episode is brought to you by Savvy STR Agents. the short-term rental real estate experts helping investors find profitable vacation rental properties nationwide. If you're serious about scaling your STR portfolio, savvy STR agents should be your first call.